back to Montgomery and Company. I'm your host, Renee Montgomery. Let's get it, okay? Because I feel like this is a great time to give a shout out to our Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the Falcons, I would say, they're overachievers. I mean, if we thought they were going to do this well, I always think a team is going to do well because I'm an insane athlete. And I believe that every year we have a chance, even if the fans never think we have a chance. So I'm the athlete brain that thinks that. And it also carried over down into my fandom. So I actually did think that the Falcons was going to have a good season. And even every year, if they don't have one, I'd just be like, okay, my bad. I thought they were. But the Falcons this year have had an extremely exciting season, to say the least. So let's just take a snapshot of their season. So we start out, play the Steelers. Tough matchup. We lose it 18-10. So, the grumble starts to happen. I heard it. I saw it on Twitter. Okay. People call me delusional. I saw it on Twitter. But then we come back and we get a 22-21 dub on the Eagles. Come on now. That was a big win. It was turned up. And then we followed that up with a one play away. If you watch the game, if you know, we played the Chiefs. We lost 22-17, but we all know that one play I'm talking about, but I digress because, I don't believe that the refs, I always just try to not pay attention to the refs. Then we go on in this rival week, baby. So, we playing the Saints. We play the Saints. We get a dub, 26-24. Okay, so we popping. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit of momentum because even though we did drop it to the Chiefs, I felt like we was right there in it. Pow, pow, blow for blow. So then we beat the Saints. Then we beat the Bucks, 36-30. I'm feeling good. The division is looking like it's ours. We go on, we play the Panthers, 38-20, stomped out. I mean, rise up. Now I'm starting to really talk my talk. I'm getting confident. I hope the city is too. So then we go and we play the Seattle Seahawks. And baby, we got humbled a little bit. 34-14. All right. I'm chilling. I'm cool. We humbled a little bit. But then we come back. We played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. And y'all already know what. Falcons mub. Like, y'all already know what happened. 31-26. The Falcons win. And this one, we played America's sweetheart team next, the Cowboys. And that's my Diddy's team. Shouts to my Diddy. I don't know why so many people like the Cowboys, by the way. I wonder how that happened. I really do. I want the dream to be that team where you not from there, you never been to a game, but you are a diehard Dream fan. I need them kind of fans with the Atlanta Dream because Cowboy fans, every year, like I told you, I be having athlete brain and I really think every year is my year. Cowboy fans really think every year is their year too. But this year, the Falcons play the Cowboys. We win 27-21. Okay, we talking our talk because at that point, when you beat the Cowboys, even if they're not really the best team, it's still the best win because their fan base is so loud and so large. And it's just, you love watching the meltdown. But I felt like it was just a good time to shout out the Falcons because whatever happens, this is a good start. This is what we're talking about. We just want something to cheer about. And the Falcons so far this season, I've been turned up. I'm not going to lie. I've been talking my talk. I've been tweeting, rise up. You know what I mean? I'm having a good time. So shouts to the Falcons. And you know what? That brings me to my MVP of the week. And I'm just going to keep it going because my MVP of the week is none other than Kirk Cousins, Kirko Bangs, Kirko Cousins. Y'all know. And Kirk, you really are doing your big one. All right. I mean, after the first 9 weeks of the season, Kirk was third in the NFL in passing yards and fourth in the NFL in passing touchdowns. Come on, Kirko Chains. I mean, we thought it was all funny in the beginning, and you know how it's all fun and games until you start losing. No, it's still all fun and games. So shout out to our cousin, Kirk, for talking that talk and walking that walk. What did he say? Go into Yo Trap, take over Yo Trap. Listen, Kirko's a wild man, but shouts to the Falcons and shouts to our MVP of the week, Kirk Cousins. I hope y'all see what I did there. All right, so let's get into this week's episode. We'll be right back with more Moco. Welcome back to Montgomery and Company. Y'all already know it's y'all's favorite time. Let's talk ATL, where we talk about what's popping in ATL. So today I have AJC Senior Editor at UATL and James Beard Award-winning journalist. Come on, Mike Jordan.
Do my little yachty
Who?
walk.
All right, I'm going to give it to you. And then we have the journalist, I already know, y'all know, Dawn Montgomery, whose ears is constantly to the streets, and she's constantly in them Twitter streets. One time for Dawn for the one time. What's up, squad? What's up, squad?
Nothing much.
Okay.
Doing good.
We doing good? All right, I'm going to get this started because y'all know I love TV and film.
Okay.
And I just saw some interesting things where Stranger Things has their own house, the buyer's house. But now fans can rent the buyer's house. And it's in Fayetteville.
Is it like Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an Airbnb in Fayetteville. And Fayetteville's been a lot in the news lately.
Yes.
Fayetteville has had a lot of energy lately. But this was interesting. The house was fully designed by designers, but also by the fans.
That's dope.
I feel like that's
dope.
interesting. That has retro electronics. It has product designs from the show. So things you might have seen in the show are going to be in the house. Also, fans can buy shares in the house and earn a piece of the rental income. Shares start at $100.
So when was somebody going to tell me this?
Okay, listen, I'm trying to tell you.
What is this?
I'm trying to tell you. But I have a topic that I like. That's the setting. I'm setting the stage because I have a question. Would y'all stay in a haunted house? Like one of them Airbnb? Would y'all?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good. Okay, because look, have you seen it? Like I saw the listing and the outside of it, I'm like, I don't think I can make it inside because the outside got that Stranger Things thing going on. I'm like,
no. But I will say this. I think that that's a testament to how the film industry is boosting here, especially just the state of Georgia. So I think that that's uber dope. I know I saw like the Incredibles house that was up on Airbnb, and that was only up for like a month or whatever, but that was in California. So for something like that to happen here, you know, in Georgia, I think that that's uber dope for
Here's
fans.
the house. So this is the
that's
little
so ugly.
What just feels like something. It feels like you can look too deep down into the house from here, and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm just saying. But what if there was a challenge to stay in a haunted house? They offered you.
You better offer me $1 million or more.
Oh no, we offer you $50,000 to stay a weekend in a haunted house, Dawn.
$50,000, absolutely not. I need $1 million. I have standards. If I'm gonna be black in a scary house, you gonna pay me.
You know, I always say everybody always talk this smoke, but it's like if you see the cash in front of you, it looked different. I mean, like if they bring the briefcase and they show you the bands.
$1 million.
I might take the $50,000.
You better give me $1 million.
I mean, because for me, I got questions. It's like, what type of haunted house we talking? If we talking Stranger Things where the fans and done their little thug thizzle in it, I could do that one. I could stay in the buyer's house.
But I feel like any Airbnb that you stay in is technically a haunted house.
Well, I don't know. Come on, man.
People already live there, so you're going. And this is coming from an avid This is an avid person who loves Airbnb. Shout out to Airbnb.
I'm not a fan,
but I'm telling you, I be scared sometimes.
My boy talks about this phenomenon called the freak ghost, which is like something that's in the air that you weren't a part of, but you can feel it. Something went on here that I wouldn't sanction.
Proves my point.
Yeah, the Airbnbs be having a freak ghost sometimes.
Well, wait a minute. Y'all talking about freaks. I thought for it to be haunted, you had to have somebody die in the house.
Well, no, anything can be haunted, correct? Like or some type of thing happened there. Like it doesn't have to be like death, but something happened there.
But
which is like everyday people do something in their house.
That's
like I'm just saying. That's just nasty.
I'm not scared of everyday people stuff. But when I went to New Orleans on our family vacation during Essence Fest,
you went to some
haunted
places.
Yeah,
and then there's that one place on Bourbon.
Listen,
Y'all
no, ma'am. A bit close to the Veil. I don't know how to explain it,
but I'm not going over there. No. I'm not even walking in the direction of said house.
You be all right. You know what I mean? Like do some push-ups.
Listen, that's all I got. I was just curious because I'm like, this is cute because it's Stranger Things. We know it's a little TV show. It's fake, but it made me think. My wife is in the paranormal shows. We sometimes fall asleep to them, which is scary in itself.
Y'all don't wake up scared?
No.
Y'all keep a light on?
X-Files. Why she over there looking at Sirena now?
Y'all keep a light on?
No.
I don't watch it to go to sleep because it's too scary.
Okay,
we watch X-Files.
But that's scary. X-Files is scary.
X-Files is a little scary too. You know what I'm saying? We got a spooky queen. I got a spooky queen, but I digress. What you got for us today, Mike?
So I just been noticing this phenomenon recently of just like every weekend it seems like, and maybe even on a Tuesday, it's been a whole lot of just Black financial festivals. It's like every time you turn around, there is a generational wealth fest or like Robin Hood fest or something. It's just like everybody wants me to invest, and I'm like, I swear the founders of FUBU, shout out to FUBU, but they are here, and the Earn Your Leisure guys, and then it'll be like Keke Palmer for some reason. I'm not saying Keke Palmer ain't about the bag, but I'm just like, what's up with all these financial
Because
festivals
quiet
in
is
Atlanta?
camp. Everybody ain't got money. How they be talking on these
That's
things.
what
so,
I'm
so let's
saying,
be clear.
man. Like David
Let's
John
be
got
clear.
the bag. You know, Earn Your Leisure definitely got the bag. But some of the people up there and be like, also with Greg Jenkins, and I'm like, I've not heard Greg Jenkins' story yet. You know, like
But
did he pay to be on stage?
Renee, the counter to something like that would be like the women's empowerment events,
Okay,
right? And
yeah.
how they usually will make money for the people who are putting them on, but for
Yes.
network,
Yeah.
purposes or whatever, you don't really get anything
That's
from
what
that.
I'm
And so,
wondering,
like,
the
that's
value.
frustrating that people keep coming to Atlanta. And also, I think they know that people will pay for that in Atlanta.
Well,
But
I wonder
also-
what they're paying for. Like, what do you think the fan thinks they're gonna get?
To be in proximity, let's start there.
Yes,
To
right.
be in proximity
That's right.
because someone like, these people are there or they're mentioned, but also to kind of like, not only in my proximity of these people, but look at me and my business. Look at me and what I've got going on. And I think that that's the thing that frustrates me about the city of Atlanta is I'm like, you can really tell through the scams. You can tell through the fakeness because why are you everywhere? Like that's just not possible,
Yeah.
right? But then on top of that, it's like, okay, what are you actually doing? We see you at events, but we don't actually see the work that you're doing, right? Like I'm gonna be clear because baby, you're not gonna see majority of my work on social media, so don't come to me for that. But to be fair, if I'm out in Atlanta, you'll see what I'm doing, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And I just don't think people really think about that.
Yeah, and I just worry because again, like when you have these kinds of things, are these cottage industries? Are they things that are feeding off of people who, and they've made money around,
Yes.
the fact that people want to make money.
Yes.
It's aspirational. Like everybody may have the ability to be an investor, but when everyone is an investor, and I'd be like, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, I'm just like, you're not getting to clear, concise information. And
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about the consumer or the person who's coming there to really try to better themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just that's one of the things. Maybe it's the journalist in me, but I'm wondering, like, wow, Atlanta, and is it exploitive? It almost feels like when in a place with wealth and income inequality being what it is in Atlanta, it feels predatory sometimes.
It's very predatory.
It feels predatory.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'm like, as they say sometimes, to be your own people. I just want to
It
make
be
sure
your own people.
that we're not doing this, because I do want money. Yeah, it do be your own people.
Because they know. They
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Dawn, no, I mean that's a good point. I feel like not even just conventions, but there is a lot of energy coming to Atlanta. Just in general, there's a lot of
Yes.
businesses coming
Yes.
to Atlanta,
Mhm.
and I think that to that point, that's also coming. Like people understand that there's so much energy coming that it's like, yeah, let us get on the wave,
Yeah,
however
yeah,
we
yeah.
can. It's not
Yeah.
kind of like what you saying.
Well, I ain't got no money to be spending at these things, so don't ask me unless I'm going to be on a panel.
The other thing too is if if you sign up for the little thing, you get that email like 48 hours before and be like, hey, we got 100 free tickets. It'd be like them $5,000 tickets that you were selling last week. So I'm just like,
money at,
again,
right. Where my money
how's
at?
it all making
Mhm.
sense?
So basically what I'm hearing is y'all need to just wait. If you're trying to go to one of these things and see what he talking about, wait till a couple 48 hours before
Tuesday night.
Tuesday. Wait till Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Get your free ticket. Go check it out. Because if it is in the proximity thing that you want to be, like I speak at a lot of different places. And right when I come off of the stage, there is a group of people that are hungry, basically.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I want you to see, to your
But
point.
you
of like,
actually work. Like, you
Yeah.
actually do things.
That's why
like,
they're
we
coming to
know
you.
this, Renee.
Yeah.
Like, but there are some of these people that they platform and that they bring to the city. And I'm like, you could have went down the street and got a Black-owned business or some entrepreneur
I see what
here
you're saying.
that we actually know that is doing this thing and platform them. Stop bringing these people here.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Atlanta
Yeah.
seems constantly under the threat of a Hollywoodization and like this marketing persona being slapped on the Black community. And it's like, oh, we can do this. We can box this whole experience up and do that. And fortunately, I think the people of Atlanta are smart enough to know when something feels like it's more of a somebody else's hustle than it is something you can apply to your life and be an entrepreneur.
Right.
But I want to make sure that people who are going in, they're going to make sure that they're not buying everything that's sold.
Yes.
And that happens a lot to us. And I always hate to see it being exploitative if it's something that's specific to Black people with their dreams.
Yeah.
It's like, people need to be taken care of. So I just always
Okay,
advise.
so they selling dreams. Don't buy a nightmare, okay? Don't buy a nightmare. They out here selling dreams. Mike Jordan's trying to warn y'all, okay? Don't act like he didn't try
But if
to
you
tell
get rich, then come talk to me because I'm looking for a sponsor too. You know what I mean? Like I need an investor.
Sponsor.
All right, man.
I
All
never
right,
said
Dawn,
nothing bad about
what you
you.
got
Okay.
for us, Dawn?
So this is to the city of Atlanta, city of Decatur. any of these other cities and inside the perimeter of Metro Atlanta, I'm sick of these damn metal plates, okay? The metal plates in the road. Instead of you fixing the pothole, you put this little slab on top of there. Yeah, I know we from the South, so slab is something we do, right? But at one point in time, I want to say before the pandemic, like before 2020, I think there was like a lot of articles that were coming out and stories that were coming out about how these metal plates shift. And I'm experiencing this because I'm off of North Druid Hills. And if you drive down North Druid Hills, baby, you're going to hit one. You're going to ride over one. But there's this one particular hill that's on North Druid Hills that really frustrates me because you can actually hear it as it shifts as you're driving. So I'm like, it's a scary thing.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
But I'm like, hey, they need to start giving us like tire commissions, tire stipends or something. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Because every time I turn around, it's somebody blowing out a tire or something like that. Or there's an accident near the metal plate because the metal plate is there. So City of Atlanta, City of Decatur, all of y'all, fix the roads.
I'm going to say, though, what's interesting about what you just said, people have said the same thing about DeKalb Avenue. People said the same thing about a lot of different roads and streets in Atlanta. A lot of those, and they tend to be like more south and southwest and everything like that. That side is actually funny. It's interesting that it's North Druid Hills.
And that's why it bothered me because I've been watching it for like the past 2 months at least, and it's increasing. Like there's more metal plates, there's more things, and they're doing more things on the road. But also, I'm gonna bring this up. They're creating this new development that's kind of like Atlantic Station that's over there where the old mall used to be. It's gonna be called Lula Hills or something. So, and I'm like, I wonder if they got these metal plates down there to start traffic coming in and stuff like that, or try to keep us out of the way so that they can do construction in that area.
Oh, you conspiracy theory.
I'm looking into it.
Okay,
you know
she's looking into it.
But I'm sick of it. I need them to fix the roads. I need them to just go ahead and do that. But don't bring us them slabs. Like, I'm sick of
No,
them.
it's real though. Those are out there. It's like, but first of all, I know infrastructure is like supposed to be big right now. I think even ATL, you're a journalist, maybe you know about this. Aren't we supposed to be having a lot of money come into infrastructure from just
federal and all kinds of things. Yeah.
So
the Stitch and all of these things. Yeah.
So it's interesting because last year Sirena did pop a tire on a.
See,
she popped a tire.
See, and you should be owed money.
But you got them low profile tires, probably,
where it's like
you probably got them.
You call this number and you get your money back.
Yeah.
Plus suffering, because I know.
So I know it's a real issue. So what I'm saying is, you brought it up, and I was like, you know, it has affected our family. You know how when they say like the commercials, has it affected you or your family?
Yes,
you might be entitled to a class action lawsuit.
Please call Atlanta Public Works.
Exactly. So it has affected my family as well. So yeah, Atlanta, I mean,
fix the roads.
Can you fix the roads a little? Don said, I want to say it to you nice. Atlanta, baby boo. I'm glad you got rid of the potholes though, because we didn't like them potholes, but boo boo, we want to be a little, take us somewhere nice.
At least do the blend, like like a fade. Like they don't be having that part that like leans on it. It just be like a hard ridge. Like
they just sit it right on top. Yeah.
But that's better than a metal plate. Like, why is this thing shifting? Why do I feel it moving when I go over it? Like this, am I gonna die here?
Oh like, goodness, no. Dawn. First you tried to say kids get sick, so you can be. Now you said. Y'all, we done again. We are done. That's it for this week's Let's Talk ATL. Be sure to follow this one, man. Follow Don at _Don Montgomery. And follow my guy, Mike Jordan, at Mike Jordan ATL. We'll be right back with more Moco. Okay, so y'all know Sirena and I, we love to talk love and marriage, hence the name. But today we're going to talk love, work, and marriage because we have some dope individuals that not only do business at a high level, but they do business together at a high level. So we have CEO and founder of Advise Sports and Entertainment, Denise Thompson, in the building.
How you doing?
Then we also have her wife, Ashley Cargle-Thompson.
Yeah.
Yes, let's go. Who is her business strategist and advisor. So let me... Gotta give you some of that too. Give you some of that too. Welcome to Montgomery and Company, y'all.
Welcome.
Thank you
for having us.
So this is gonna be fun because Sirena and I, we work together, we live together, we do all things together, and so we love talking to people that do business. But Denise, I'm gonna start with you. So you've had many athletes enter their professional sports career with no idea how to manage their money or how to even just navigate being an athlete and their families as it relates to money management. So like, what is that like onboarding that process?
It's awesome, really. I came from corporate America. I was director of revenue management for a couple of different major companies. And so while I was doing that, I had an entertainer, and she actually had a boyfriend that was an athlete, and that's how I got into this whole process. And I remember one day, the agency called me and said, hey, you know, it was a lockout that year, and they were like, hey, we have a game on Sunday, and if we can have all the money that we gave to him by Monday, that would be greatly appreciated. Wow. And I was new. He had already had his kind of team. And I was like, hey, did you spend this kind of money? He's like, oh, did I have to pay that back? I was like, nobody gives you anything for free.
No. So wait, what
That's
money
the first
was
lesson.
it? What money was it?
So it was money for cars and,
Oh no.
you know, just regular money.
And the agency had fronted him because a
And
lot
the
of people,
agency had fronted
I was
him,
just
and
breaking
a
it
lot
down,
of people
yeah.
think that money is free, but it's not.
Yeah.
You actually have to pay it back. And then there are some agencies that also put interest on it.
Yeah.
Lucky for him, he didn't have the interest part, but it was over 6 figures.
Wow.
And lucky for him also, he was a first round draft pick and not a 4th or 5th round, because back in the day, there were only 13 checks
Oh yeah.
that an athlete would get from the NFL. And so cash flow is a big thing.
Definitely.
And so paying that type of money out in the very beginning would cause you, you know, you might not have any money for the rest of the year if you're only getting 13 paychecks.
Right.
So that taught me, I was like, okay, when I get the next player, I need to be a part of the process before that individual gets an agent.
Yeah. To stop
So
them
that I
from-
can help
Yeah.
to facilitate and make sure that they're not making those type of mistakes.
No, I love that. And just so people understand, the NFL season, the WNBA season, the NBA season, our checks are not spread throughout the whole year. Your check is spread throughout the time of that season. So if the WNBA is during the summertime, your checks are during the summertime. So the NFL, they had 13 checks at that time. I know they did spread it out more for that very reason.
It's actually around 32 to 36 now,
Yeah,
because
see.
of the cash flows issues that the guys were having.
Yeah, so they had to do that in response to, like, it's hard for people to manage and budget a check from 13 to all the way for the full year. Now, I'm actually curious, because Sirena, you too, what is the process like when I'm going to take a new job, or if I'm thinking about doing something new, you know, like what goes through y'all's minds in advising? Because you said you help advise. She definitely is who I go to, like, all right, I'm thinking about doing this new gig. Like, what kinds of things do you weigh? And that would be for Sirena and Ashley. Like, what things do y'all weigh in when you're advising your partner?
Yeah. The first thing I'm always going to be concerned with is her bandwidth, because I think you don't kind of grow an empire or legacy by saying no and really being aware of your limitations. I think the people who really are succeeding and just grinding out there are saying yes most of the time, and you have to. But somebody's got to be there to say, you know, what is kind of the cost benefit ratio of what's being presented to you. And a lot of times we don't agree. Like, a lot of times certain things she'll say, it's not necessarily beneficial now, but I'm playing the long game. Like, just trust me with that. And then sometimes, you know, she will listen and she'll say, yeah, you know what? Like, I am kind of tired. Like, I really don't know how I'm going to fit this in. But my first concern for her, and especially because how the business has been structured up until now, is, do you have the bandwidth to do this and do it well?
Yeah.
Because also your reputation is involved. And if you're stretched too thin, people are going to notice, and you don't want the work to suffer.
I love that. Serena, what about you? Because we definitely disagree sometimes.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's pretty much the same. And I come from the artist world, so they get advances too from the record labels. And so I learned that lesson early on too, is don't take on more than you can chew. So I kind of adapted that with Renee as well. Just, you know, like you said, the bandwidth. Let's measure what can we do, what can we not do. Because Renee likes to just stack things. And we actually are well, I think she's more of a workaholic, but I say that we both are workaholics a little bit.
I am too.
Right. I mean, we match for a reason, you know. So
Exactly.
I think that, you know, finding that balance is difficult, but I think that also you just said something important. You can't say, people who are working are saying yes a lot of times. So saying those no's are really important, you know, because sometimes you could feel like you're missing an opportunity.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you're like, you know what, it probably was the wisest thing to say no to this, and you kind of just have to not think about it too much and keep it moving, you know, because sometimes those no's could sometimes stick with you. But for the most part, thank God, we haven't had many regrets with the
No,
no's
I
that
love
we've said.
that. I had to learn that, like, sometimes there's addition by subtraction in a sense of like, all right, being more exclusive is sometimes more appealing. And so, but to that point of when you're first starting to grind and you want to grind, I am a workaholic. It's like, I don't, in basketball, I had to overcompensate for my not having height and not having like super athletic ability, that I'm like, all right, well, you ain't gonna outwork me. So it's just, it just came to the point where I did that in business as well. But Denise, I'm curious then, like, in that sense of bandwidth, how do you decide who you want to work with? Because you have the opportunity to work with athletes, entertainers. Now, I'm going to say this, being an athlete, I know athletes aren't the easiest to work with, in a sense of there's just, even entertainers, there's that same world of like, they're superstars.
Actually, I think it's easier to work with athletes.
Let's go. Come on, athletes. Let's go.
Yeah, I think so, because from the moment you start out as a young person, you've got a coach, and you're listening to a coach. Whereas an entertainer, they're like, I'm the creative. I know everything.
Yes.
We should do it my way. And I'm like, yeah, for creativity, yes. Do it your way. I'm not going to tell you how to be an artist, but let me help you to make better decisions when it comes to spending your money, or even a recording budget, or touring. And I do all of those for entertainers as well.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
you know, I just want to make sure that they're successful and they spend the money in the right places that they need to spend it.
So you have these big contracts coming through. Like, how do you, a lot of times with people are nervous, like, this is my money. Like, you know, like, how do you get over the money hurdle conversation and make people want to trust you with your money?
You know, it's really interesting. I started off with a lot of these kids when they were in high school.
Oh, okay.
And Babe was like, you working with these kids while they're in high school? Yes, because I want them to start initially understanding how to have a budget. I want to talk to the families and say, this is a team effort. You're only as good as your team, and you're a part of this team. And so when I need help or assistance, I need you to back me, that this is the right way to handle things. And now that some of those kids are now multi-millionaires, we had 2 big deals. They've already know me. The family knows me. The family knows Ash. They trust us. They trust what we're doing. We help them through the whole draft process. And so we've been there. And so we're all like family.
Yeah.
And there comes a time where that athlete may have another partner or somebody new that comes into their lives, and we try to get everybody on the same program early on, because you're only as good as your team.
Wow, that's a good time to start in high
was
school.
gonna
I wish we would have had you in high school.
Yeah. I mean, but it meant that she put in a lot of years, like these were mentorship relationships that she was building with.
Because
NIL
NIL wasn't a thing.
NIL wasn't a thing, right?
It's not.
So this was like her going and doing financial literacy kind of consulting for their families, and, you know, helping build out the business end of the training programs that they go to, so that they can really maximize on the resources that they were getting through those training programs, and just showing leadership training, so that when they went to college, she kept in touch with them. Like, she invited them to our family reunions. They came.
Wow.
Wow. But then after that, once they were, you know, looking to declare for pro, they already knew who they could trust. The families had already let us in. And a lot of her client acquisition model is really that. It's who feels like family, who is going to trust us like family, who is going to kind of let us in, and then we kind of gradually earn responsibility from them.
And that's interesting.
And we need more of that in high schools, like financial literacy, leadership, things like that are things that are not taught enough. We start to learn those things maybe in the workplace, not even in college.
I think that's crazy though, to that point. You know how I feel like if not, I think it should be certain high school classes that are about literally life, like life 101, because it really is. As a collegiate athlete, we got helped so much on so many things that I'm like, man, how are regular students doing this? And even to the point of just regular human life things, like when you're trying to buy a house, like with mortgage, just different things of balancing your life. You were pretty much doing those classes. And what was so how was you making money during that time? I mean, what? Is that a business? Before it was NIL, you were almost just doing it and educating them on a...
Look, I was in corporate America. I was telling the Jim Beams and Coronas of the world how to make all of their top line growth.
So you was doing all right is what you was doing.
I was doing okay. So for me, it was it was a passion project, really, that turned into a business.
Wow.
Love that. So
let's all learn from that.
Yeah. So let's get into it because I want to know what it's like working with your partner. Sirena and we have Think Tank Productions together. She's the executive producer and talent here on this podcast. And so a lot of times there's the front facing human that people might see all the time. But then I'm sure then there's the human behind the human that is really the backbone of the human. And so what is that like, just working with your partner? And this is for everybody. Just open
she was my biggest supporter because I've been doing this for a long time, but part-time. I was corporate by day, entertainment by night, and then I got my first sports guy, and he was a #1 draft pick. And
who is that?
AJ Green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay.
And so she was always there to say, hey, babe, I got you. Go out there. You got to go to Cincinnati. You got to go somewhere. We were always there. We were always a part of the program. And so when we moved back to Atlanta, actually, she moved to Atlanta for me.
A year and a half before she came.
A year and a half before I came. I was in corporate. I was
trying to get vested.
I was wanted to get fully vested.
Smart.
Make that money really to support us and to make sure that we were all set. And so I came back, did a consultancy gig, and then I actually left for an entertainer. Blessed that did I just want to rolly.
I just want to rolly in the thunder.
Okay. So I left for him, and then the next year, AJ Terrell was coming out, and
nice.
I'd already known the family. I'd already been there working for free forever.
Wow. That working for free part is what I think
it was something like 6 years. I think we met AJ when he was in 8th grade, 7th grade,
8th grade,
something like that. And so, I think actually in a big way, her having to go through all of those transitions, while it was absolutely a challenge, it also strengthened our marriage because her career was rolling, opportunities were coming in. She had already done what she needed to do in corporate and was just sitting there like, hey, I did it, and I was really building my career and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And in any relationship, that kind of disparity and fulfillment can create a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
And so when she actually came to Atlanta, she consulted for a little bit, but there was a little bit that on my higher education salary, I was the breadwinner for 9 months.
Yes,
before she started to out earn me. It doesn't take much, but I got to be the breadwinner. I really got to, in a very tangible way, say, I got us. I've health insurance, like mortgage, all of that. Like I can take care of that so that she could continue to do some things for free, but also when she was making money, reinvest back into the business. So it was actually, we found a way for it to be very validating for me too. And I think that's the biggest key in working with your partner is that you both have to find individual validation in the work that you're doing. It cannot, my only validation cannot be, I love her and I believe in what she's doing, so I'm going to go there too. Like it has to be something that makes you feel more yourself and more like, and something that you're contributing.
I love that. I mean, I always tell Renee that too. I always say, hey, this is like, we work together and I work for you, but this is for me too. Like, this is very fulfilling for me too. Like, I went to school for this. You know, I love entertainment. I love production. I just love this world, and I also love you. And this is probably not the best example, but we love the show Naked and Afraid. Right? So, but like, where's she going with this? So in Naked and Afraid, they come together in like these little groups and stuff, and everybody contributes. You know, and that's kind of how I look at life too. You know, it's like in a partnership, you all have to pick your weight. I mean, like hold your weight, and you have to contribute. So whenever I saw like a space or something that I was like, maybe that could go a little bit better, because I have an idea or something, and I did study this, so maybe let's see if she, you know, like if she likes the idea, or, and it's not always about just like you know, like if she likes it, but it's also like, can this help you? Because sometimes she doesn't like the idea, but I'm like, this could really help you, you know? So
about that disagreeing part,
Yes. So it's just like, you know, just filling that hole or that space that you can see that needs help or something. Is just, and we also have this thing called a submission competition type of thing, but we help each other, you know, like she picks me up and I pick her up, and as we see that it's a mutual thing, you know. It doesn't ever feel like somebody's picking up more weight than the other.
I agree. And so there's that thing, I hear it's a myth to me, but there's a work-life balance thing that people, there's this thing that people talk about. They say work-life balance. How do you guys get work-life balance while working with your partner?
I'm gonna let you answer that.
I mean, yeah, it's a unicorn. We were talking about this on the way here, and I was like, we don't balance work and life. Because it's really difficult to do that, especially the nature of the work is that you're balancing other people's lives.
Yes.
So it makes it kind of hard for us to kind of prioritize that. But what we do try to do is find moments in the work for us. So you know, I was like, when was the last time we went on a vacation just because we went there and there was no work associated? There were no business meetings. There was no networking. We do not have an answer. But we will say, okay, we have to do this. We're going to take a week here. And even though we will be on our phones the entire time, like we will not be taking meetings or anything. And then we're going to go back to work, you know, here. And so we'll do what we can to make those bonding moments. And again, I think that's why it's so important, though, that we each have a passion and a stake in the work. Because, and for the longest time, like I would not work with her. Like she actually, no, she from.
It's like, babe, what?
I really,
Is it me?
Because I would, like, what about? Yeah, I would give her advice like on the wifey tip, but she would say, "Oh, you should just come over and do this," and I'm like, no. Because I value our relationship too much.
And
our
you thought that
marriage comes first. And until there's something in your business and the way that you conduct business that's a good fit for me, that I'm personally passionate about, I don't want to risk resenting you. I don't want to risk, you know, saying no to other opportunities or not exploring what my interests are because this is right here and, you know, I love you. I need to feel like I'm able to personally grow within this. And so it took like 5 years before we found, but then there was a very natural transition into it. So there's no work-life balance really. But
so long story short.
No, Yeah, me too.
I think work is fun.
Yes, I as long as you guys both enjoy it too.
Yeah,
and it's like
definitely.
what you said, like as spouses, as wives, you know, like we're always kind of giving that advice anyway. And so, like you said, it just happened very naturally where we're like, well, you know what, let's both make money off of these ideas and this advice that I'm giving you and these great ideas that you have, and that's how the business grew. And to your point of finding those moments, I can't remember the last, maybe like 3 years ago, that we went on a vacation because we do go on trips all the time, but it's like, hey, let's go to dinner if we're in this city because we in Seattle or something. I've never seen Seattle or just,
or if I have a speaking engagement, it's like, oh, this place is lit.
Exactly. It's like we can't be in a beautiful city and not like at least walk around for a little bit. That's how we find our pockets and moments.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we do have a trip coming up in November.
Where you going?
It's shocking. This is like, it's like, wow. We're going to Punta Cana in the DR. We're calling it our Why Did I Get Married trip. I know y'all know that Tyler
Oh no.
But I know the Tyler Perry movie's bad. But so here's the progression of it. So my best friends, I have like 2 best friends that we go on annual trips. When I was younger, we would just go on an annual trip every year with the WNBA. We have 2 weeks in between the season. I'd link up with the homies and we go on a fringe trip, right? Yeah. So now we're all grown and we'd all have a partner now. So now we made our annual friends homie trip our partner trip. It's our Why Did I Get Married trip in the best way possible. Not the Tyler Perry one,
gonna get stranded on a mountain anywhere.
We hope to all come back married, still married from it. But that's kind of what we basically changed our homie trip to now a couples trip because life happens and you mature, and our homies trip would not be a good idea. The things that was homies trips are no longer
valid.
Exactly. But I want to end with a game, and we're going to play it too. But we're going to point to who does this apply to. These are rapid fire questions. I think it looks like there's about 8 to 10 of these questions. I'm going to ask the question and you point to who does this sound like more. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's get it. This is called Love, Sports, and Marriage Game. Okay. So who watches the most sports on TV? You're supposed to be doing it too.
I'm over here looking at that. I want to see.
So I was
definitely Renee.
All right. Who is best at talking to people?
Oh, I'm over here looking again.
Stop being nosy. I would say you like it more, but who is best at organization?
You think so?
Renee.
You're really organized.
I'm good at closets, but
okay. Well, then.
She said who's the most competitive?
I would say Renee.
Oh no, I think
definitely me.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
We
and
do
I'm
not
a
play
win.
one-on-one, except for basketball, which is why we don't play one-on-one.
Right. That's
oh, wait a minute. What?
Yeah,
Loving basketball?
Yeah. I mean, you can't not be an athlete.
She made
and not
me
be
cry.
competitive.
Yes, I stopped playing with her.
Why? Because she was beating you that bad?
Well,
Yeah,
she
pretty
wasn't
much.
beating me that bad, but she was a bully.
I was not a bully.
I
Yeah,
don't know
she was
how
a
I
bully.
feel about you crying about it.
No.
Yeah,
No.
that's
No.
bad.
That's
Forget
no.
about that.
I just had post moves.
And you
And I
wasn't.
took you out to the 3-point line. You didn't like that?
It was
either.
no mercy. It feels like there was no mercy
It was
either.
not.
What
It
happened
was
after
not.
you cried?
I have a rule, actually, that I don't play one-on-one with people who I love. Okay?
Because you're that competitive.
Like,
It wasn't
I have
that
a
she was
rule,
beating
and so
me.
we
She
would
was
go to
just
the
a
gym, and I
bully.
would be minding my business, shooting around, and she would want to come and try and D up.
She said it wasn't about the dub. It was how you won. She
How
said
you
it was,
won.
She said it
You
was
were
ugly.
just-
It was a bully.
Have you seen yourself play spades?
Oh, wait, that is my game.
I don't
Have
say
you seen
nothing
yourself
to you.
play
I'm like,
King's
hurry up and
Corners with
win.
your 92-year-old
Okay, hold on. Let's reel it in.
Okay, now.
Right.
We got to finish the game, though.
You see the competitiveness happening?
Right, I can't play games with her either. Let's not even
Yeah.
get into Scrabble.
I know, because I was like, they like to play for fun. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is that? I don't even know what playing for fun means, but I digress. Who has the best handwriting?
I would say me.
Definitely. Who is the most romantic?
Me,
Renee.
definitely.
Yeah, okay, I take that. I'll take that. Who's the most practical?
I think we're both
I think,
practical.
yeah, I think you would be.
I would say me.
Who's the best listener?
Me.
Yeah, right. I know you weren't about to point at me. I have like ADD a little bit. Who would win in a basketball game is the last question.
Definitely Renee.
We already know the answer to that. Who is not playing each other again in the next basketball game? Listen, Denise, Ashley, amazing
Thank you
being
so
able to
much for
talk to
having
you
us.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
I
Thank
love
you.
what's happening here, where we love talking to people that have figured it out at business level, but also figured it out
Yes.
together, because in this world of entrepreneurship, everybody's trying to figure out, like, what is my thing? What can I do? And it really is an incredible feeling, like when you figure it out with your partner. It's like, oh, we lit.
Yeah.
You know, like when you get a little, look at this, when you get a little celebration in the house because something came through
Right,
and you get your
right.
house turned up. If you don't know, that is the best feeling.
It
Like just
really
being able to celebrate together. So we appreciate y'all. We thank y'all.
Thank
for
you
joining
so much
us
for
here.
having us.
Montgomery and Company. That was awesome. That was awesome. We had a great time today with y'all at Montgomery and Company. As always, I hope you did as well. This is one of my favorite parts of fall in Atlanta and just in general. Like when the leaves start changing, when the trees are beautiful. Look, I'm from West Virginia, so fall is a real movement to where it goes from straight green everywhere to all the colors of fall, where it's burnt orange, it's mustard, it's that green color. So I'm a country bumpkin and fall is special. Fall also means that there's a change happening and there's changes in the environment, but there's also changes in the season. And so sometimes change can be good, sometimes change can be uncomfortable. Somebody like me, I like routines, I like things to be a certain way all the time. But changes can also mean new opportunities, new relationships, new inspirations. Sometimes change is hard. But I'm just saying, I've had to change a lot in sports. I've had to change a lot when I retired from sports. But some of my biggest changes were my biggest moments of growth. So just think about ways that change or a habit or routine can change to elevate you. Because sometimes you can get in a routine, but that means that you're in the same place. You're not really going nowhere. You're stuck in the same routine. Sometimes we got to get ourselves out of that routine. And when I say sometimes I'm really talking to myself, okay? So think about ways. We're getting to that point of the year where I'm not saying make a New Year's resolution, but think about ways that you want to elevate next year. You know, like I'm going to call that my project 2025 next year. What am I going to do that elevates? What am I going to do different that changes my usual habit, that elevates my usual day? Like, how can I do more in a day? How can I maybe do less because it's time for self-care? You know, like just think about what changes you might want to make, because routines and habits, they're all well and good. And in sports, you can set your clock by me when I'm going to walk into the gym, what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to go to sleep after shoot around. I was one of those athletes that ran everything by habit. But you know what? Sometimes you got to change your habits to elevate your life. So think about ways that you can change yours and embrace that change, because some new opportunities of growth may be heading your way. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Montgomery and Company. I'm Renee Montgomery. I'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Montgomery and Company. Remember, if you've got a question for the MoCo mailbag, send it to us at moco@wabe.org or at Montgomery Co Pod on Instagram. This show is produced by Think Tank Productions in collaboration with WABE. Our executive producers are Amena Brown, Scotty Crowe, and Sirena Grace. Audio production is by Kevin Rinker and Matt Owen. Video by Ariel Brown, Greg Harding Films, and Rashad Pitts. Until next time, I'm Renee Montgomery, and this is MoCo, where it's all sports, culture, and family business.
WABE.